All that I ask for is for you to hit that like button and red subscribe button, especially if you're new. If you're watching this on TikTok, go search up Bhlademyst on YouTube and make sure you guys subscribe there as well and watch the full video. Now, the first thing you want to do on this map is head on over to the Minnesota Twins. You're gonna practice the perfect simulation method. So if we lose any fans whatsoever, we would restart. Whether we lose fans in this first simulation or in this second simulation, it does not matter. We would restart until we get to the Minnesota Twins with 6 million fans in that leading territory. Once we arrive there with 6 million fans, which hopefully this will be the simulation that allows us to do that, we are going to face them on all-star difficulty. We are going to put our 5th best starting pitcher, so they put their 5th best starting pitcher, and we're going to capture this stronghold first. Step number 2 is simple. We need to go ahead and now capture these open territories instead of going towards the Chicago Cubs. Why, you might be asking? Well, there is no point in us losing any fans whatsoever trying to capture territories when we can't even, 1, attack the stronghold, being the Chicago Cubs, or B, we can't even go ahead and circle them in and practice the nipple approach. So we might as well get as many reinforcements as we possibly can before we start heading down there. Now, I want you all to pay close attention because we have 4 open spaces, which means that in this reinforced phase, we need 5 million fans in this territory, which is exactly the amount we're going to have. Now, we're no longer worried about the top. We're going directly after the Chicago Cubs. The blocker for the Chicago Cubs is going to be placed on the right-hand side. I will show you all. You're going to move all your fans over to this new leading territory, and you're going to attack this 3 million. If the simulation doesn't go your way, that's tough luck. If it does, congratulations. We're going to attack this 1 million next, and then we probably don't want to attack that 3 million territory because it most likely isn't going to come out with a positive victory in terms of simulation. So we're going to skip to reinforce now, and we're going to reinforce all over once again. Skip to attack, and this right here, where this 3 million fan territory is at, is where you're going to want to have your blocker territory. So where you leave 3 million fans after you circle in the Chicago Cubs is going to be at that location. Why, you might be asking? Well, that's where the Chicago Cubs always strike first. Now, perfect. We're gonna put 3 million fans here, and now with this territory instead of our leading territory, we're gonna start looking to circle in the Chicago Cubs. Once we have the Chicago Cubs circled in, we no longer have to worry about them, but it might not happen this turn, unfortunately, because as you can see, they do have a ton of 1 million fan territories, and you don't always get the best simulations. But since we do have this 3 million fan territory right here, what we can do is we can take the risk. If we win, we're gonna be happy since they have wasted their turn to attack already. Now, I don't want to push this 2 million territory into trying to capture this 1 million territory because the simulation isn't great, but we have nothing to lose because regardless of what happens, we are going to end up reinforcing this territory right here with 3 million fans. So that is our blocker for the Chicago Cubs. Now we head on over to the Cincinnati Reds because the Cincinnati Reds are the closest stronghold to us. We're going to put all of our fans into this new leading territory. And with this new leading territory, we need to get to that 5 million territory that the Cincinnati Reds have as fast as possible. Why? Because that is where we want to place our blocker. That is where the Cincinnati Reds will always attack. One thing you want to pay attention to, especially with the Chicago Cubs, is you want to keep a close eye on that 3 million fan territory. As soon as you see it drop below 3 million, you want to make sure you go on over and you reinforce it back to 3 million and you keep it at a healthy 3 the entire time. The beauty about going ahead and basically cutting off paths in Conquest is whenever, let's say for example, you cut off a path as we had done originally before they took it back, they can no longer reinforce those territories that are not connected towards their path. So we're going to reinforce right here, get our 9 million once again, and you might be thinking to yourself, wouldn't it be better if I went ahead and skipped to reinforce all over again? and then maybe captured the territories that way. That is a possibility, but at the same time, the reason why I refrain from it is because they are going to keep on beefing up their territories, but it is a possible thing to do to help yourselves out just a little bit more. They attacked us with the 6 million. It didn't go in their favor. Luckily for us, we're gonna keep that 4 million there. Hopefully we were the ones that won. So we're gonna keep this 3 million here as a blocker. Now, what is the next path we're gonna go after? The Milwaukee Brewers, since the Milwaukee Brewers are the ones right next to us. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers, I'm not gonna lie to you all, they are going to give us a battle, since they have a ton of territories with a ton of fans, basically blocking the stronghold from being circled in. So I'm gonna go right after all those territories that have a ton of fans, and I'm actually going to look to probably block off that 4 million from ever being reinforced, which is not going to even happen, unfortunately, since they were able to just go ahead and defeat my territory with the 4 million after they weakened it with that 6 million they had. Want to make sure once again that your Cubs blocker has 3 million fans at all times. We're gonna reinforce that leading territory, and we're just gonna go in a circle around the Milwaukee Brewers. I highly suggest you go in a circle away from wherever they have the higher amount of territories. That way you can go ahead and block them from reinforcing those other territories, and it just makes it a lot more annoying when they start reinforcing those other territories. The 8 million decided to attack us, and it basically whooped our butt, which is perfectly fine because it does weaken them in the long run. And are they going to be able to get that territory back? They tried twice and they were finally able to do it. So you might be saying to yourself, well, we're not making a lot of progress right now, and it doesn't appear that way. But if you look at now the territories that surround them, you're no longer seeing an 8 million. The biggest you're seeing is a 7 million that we just keep on getting bad simulations with. And that's just something that I've noticed in these Legends of the Franchise maps. For some reason, compared to the rewards that we're getting from these maps, these are the worst simulation odds in your favorite maps we have gotten. And in terms of doing the nipple approach is actually much more frustrating on these maps than I think on any maps I have ever played Conquest in before. So at times you might not even want to do the nipple approach. You might just want to go right after the stronghold, face it on all-star difficulty or on veteran difficulty, so you're no longer worrying about, hey, are they gonna be able to go ahead, defeat my territory and get all of my fans back? Like, look at that. That 4 million territory faced our 4 million territory, and they were able to easily beat our 4 million territory and remain with 3 million territories. So that means in that simulation that they had, they did not lose any fans whatsoever. And as you guys can see, the Pirates are getting closer to our territory over at the Chicago Cubs stronghold that we have circled in, but we're not worried if the Pirates were to go ahead and actually interrupt our circle. The only time that it would worry us is if it would be interrupting our path down to all these other connecting territories. The reason we're not worried about it is because if the Pirates are the ones over there, then the Cubs can't reinforce their territories still, so we're gonna be good. Now the blocker for the Milwaukee Brewers is this right here. You want to have 3 million fans right here blocking the Milwaukee Brewers. We're going to reinforce the rest of our fans to this territory. That way, I know that 3 million fan territory and even those 2 million fan territories, they might attack, and they did. We were able to beat them, and we're just going to go ahead and simulate as many as we possibly can. And keep in mind, the Cincinnati Reds, they have now left us with only 1 million territory in that blocker that we had there. And the Milwaukee Brewers were able to connect a little bit of their path. So we need to go back, regain that path, and just clear out those 2 million fan territories before we even move to the Guardians. We're moving to the Guardians instantly after we basically clear out these 2 million fan territories. And the Pirates, they were actually able to interrupt our circle, if you guys aren't paying too close attention. And now our path is still secure, so we're not as stressed about it as we should be, I'd say. I'm gonna make a separate path here, and this separate path is going to be aiming to get a little bit closer to the Pirates, but it went to no avail because it didn't help us out anyway whatsoever. We're going to skip to reinforce here, and we're going to make a straight beeline towards where that 7 million is for the Guardians. Why? That 7 million is basically their blocker. So if we can take that 7 million territory with no problem and store 3 million fans over there, we're going to have a place to reinforce and instantly have a blocker. Unfortunately, we did not win that simulation, so I'm only going to put 5 million in this territory, and then the rest I'm actually gonna start heading towards the Pirates. And why the Pirates? Well, I don't want the Pirates to continue reinforcing over here and basically cut off our path to the leading territories in the West. So we need to go ahead and strategically start reinforcing now. With this 5 million territory, perfect. We went ahead and beat them, no problem. Now, in order to cut off all these other territories from the Pirates so they cannot reinforce it, we're just gonna put a straight line through it. We're not gonna go after that 10 million territory. Keep in mind, we're not going after that 3 million territory either, because I do not want that 3 million territory getting that 10 million territory, and then it's basically the bigger brother coming in and beating us up. We don't want that. We're good on that. We're gonna keep 3 million over here in the blocker territory, and since the Guardians don't have any of these territories that are their surrounding territories, it's basically as if they were nippled off already. So we're not worried about them. We're not really worried about these 2 million fans. We're more worried about the 10 million. We're more worried about these 3 millions below us, the 4 millions below us, as they do go ahead and create these disturbances that I dislike, but you gotta live with it. We're gonna go ahead and attack this 4 mil. Like I said, I'm a little reluctant to attack that 10 mil, and that is the reason why, because that 10 mil ain't nothing to joke with. And like I said, simulations, they aren't friendly in this, at least. So with this, we're gonna reinforce once again. We're heading towards the Pirates once again. We want to just make sure they're no longer going after Cubs territories. That's all we want to do. We don't even really care about the Pirates to the point where we want to make sure we circle them off, even though obviously that would be ideal. We just want to make sure that, hey, they're backing off and they're basically giving us the territory of the Chicago Cubs, so we don't have to go down there and reinforce anymore. I don't want to attack this 4 million because then it invites these 9 million fans to come in and attack us. So instead, I'm gonna skip right here. I'm going to reinforce, and I'm going to reinforce this territory instead. I'm going to move the 8 million fans over here. Now I have 24 million. Now I'm feeling like a big dog, right? So we're gonna attack that 3 million. The 13 million attacked us and it dropped us instantly back to 8. That's fine with us. We ain't stressing it. The 4 million is gonna try to get their circle back. It is not able to get their circle back. That's perfect. We're gonna continue on reinforcing wherever a blocker lacks in terms of becoming 3 million, and then with the rest, we're gonna continue going up. I don't want to attack that 15 million. The 15 million is gonna attack me, although, since I dropped down to 10 million, and then it's probably gonna try to reconnect the rest of the territories that it has, which it did very well, but we're gonna be able to break it up instantly, so we're not really stressing it and making sure that everything has 3 million. So we're gonna go back to the Guardians, make sure that territory has 3 millions, go back now to the Pirates and make sure that we cut off the path so they have no reinforcements coming. And now we're a little happier because now it seems that the Tigers have, you know, gotten enough of having the Pirates near their border. So they're coming down and they're basically laying the smackdown as well on the Pirates. That makes us very happy to see. We're not gonna go after them just yet. Oh, how do they beat us and remain? Like, I'm happy that our 1 million territory was able to take down whatever that was, but it doesn't make sense how we had like 10 million and they had 12 million, and then they could just beat us and remain with like 10 million. That was like some of the worst odds I've ever seen. Now they're gonna start fighting each other, so I don't even want to go out of my way to attack that 6 million. I want the 12 million to attack it, but I know damn well it's probably not gonna do it. But I'm gonna test it regardless to see if they attack each other. No, they didn't even attack each other. That is extremely weird. Hopefully it attacks it now. Still not attacking it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this 12 million although. Why? Because I don't want it to go ahead and eat up my pieces at any later point. We're gonna be able to circle in the Pirates. This is going to be beautiful, and we're happy here. We didn't even have to take those Detroit Tiger territories, to be honest. The Pirates are probably gonna attack us once again, and when they attack us, they're probably going to be looking to take away these 1 million fan territories. We're gonna reinforce the 3 million once again, and now I just want to get rid of anything big near us in a way to protect us. And that 3 million fan territory that the Detroit Tigers have, that looks like it's bound to come down towards us, don't stress about it, because the Detroit Tigers at this point, they're really your friends. I have not placed the blocker yet on the Pirates, but if you are at this point and you feel safer with the blocker would be placed right here. You would want to have 3 million fans right there when it comes to the Pirates. I'm happy now. I'm not even going to get close to the point of where I engage with any territory near that 5 million. Instead, I'm going to engage with this territory that they have with 3 million fans, because I know it would be coming after me next, but they did the job for me, so I don't have to worry about it. We're just gonna head on towards the White Sox now, and it should be free game. It should be easy money. You can see that the Detroit Tigers tried to attack our 1 million fan territory, and they failed horribly. So we're still looking good. We're now gonna place the blocker on the Pittsburgh Pirate, place the blocker as well on the Milwaukee Brewers, and now we're going straight after the White Sox. No ifs, ands, or buts. Just go straight after them. You're gonna want to be careful though on this engagement, because as you can see, the White Sox don't play around. The White Sox have 9, 14. I don't want to get close to 9 or 14. Frankly, I don't even want these 3 around me, but I'm gonna go ahead, skip to steal fans, skip to reinforce. The Pirates were able to knock down 1, and I lost track, or they must have just absolutely destroyed me in the previous simulation. We're gonna put 6 here, looking to take that territory back from the Cincinnati Reds, and then the rest are gonna go towards the White Sox. We're gonna skip to attack here, attack this 2 million, and hopefully beat them. We remain with 4 million, so 1 more than what I would like to have there, but you can't really complain. You got to be happy with that at that point. It seems that the 14 mil attacked us and they lost, so we don't even have to attack this 9 mil. I wouldn't attack this 9 mil. I don't feel like going out of my way to try that. And we remained there with how many? We remained there with 1 mil. They were able to get their circle back although, but that's perfectly fine. We're happy with that. We've gotten rid of their biggest numbers. Now it's time for us to completely annihilate them and circle them off. And the way I'm gonna circle them off, and I did move 1 million fans away from the Cincinnati Reds to over here because I like just leaving 3, of course. The way we're gonna circle them off is we're gonna start heading towards that 20 mil, but I am not going to engage with that 20 mil. Keep that in mind. And they brought a 15 mil over as well. Nah, they not playing around, and they got a 10 mil here. Wow. Yeah, they were not playing around at all. Look at that. They brought that 15 mil from the top of who knows where, and they said, hey, you're going to keep going down towards us. We're going to go ahead and bring the big dogs out 1 more time. That is crazy. I'm telling you all, the simulations are wild in this map. The simulations are wild. The way the CPU moves is wild as well. But it should be no issue now for us to be able to circle them off. Even with that 10 mil, the 10 mil destroyed our 8 mil and remained 5 mil for them. That is wild. Like, SDS, be honest with us. Why are you amping up these simulations? Why are you amping up the CPU movements as well for this map? It just doesn't add up to me. It's a little weird. It's a little strange. We're going to want to circle off, nipple approach as always, the Chicago White Sox. They're not going to be able to reinforce any territory. If they would have broken us off from below, meaning any of these territories they win, we're not too worried about it. It's fine. We're going to be able to circle them off regardless once again. And these 2 million fan territories, I'm not even gonna attack that one actually. I'm gonna bait it into it attacking our 1 million fan territory. That way, if it beat our 1 million fan territory, we would just head back. I'm gonna go ahead and take all these other remaining territories with the amount of fans we have right here, because the more territories you have, the more reinforcements you have, and reinforcements are obviously the most valuable thing you can have inside Conquest. So we're gonna put around 5 here just to deter the Kansas City Royals from heading towards us. The blocker is going to be placed right here for the Chicago White Sox, just so everyone knows. And then we're gonna put 3 mil back towards the Cincinnati Reds, and then the rest of our fans are gonna go to this territory, and we're just gonna look to circle off completely the Chicago White Sox. I don't want them thinking they have any chance of regaining that circle. I want that 2 mil to finally attack, which it did, trying to at least regain some of that circle so it could still reinforce, keep the head alive of the snake. But we're not going to allow that at all. We're now gonna fully nipple approach the Cleveland Guardians as well. They're not gonna be able to even try to attack with their stronghold any territory whatsoever, and we're going to capture as many territories as we possibly can before we start packing up our things and heading up towards the Kansas City Royals. So now with these 5 million fans, as I said previously, we're not looking to attack because they do have some hefty territories protecting up there. So we're going to attack now that we have 29 mil. You know, we're bullies. We don't like fighting fair. We like going ahead and rolling in there with our big brothers. And that's exactly what we're gonna do, because they don't attack unless they have 5 million or something along those lines up there. I don't think I want to attack that territory because the 8 mil might attack us and then try to regain all of those territories back. So instead, I'm going to reinforce one more time. I made a mistake not going ahead and reinforcing the Chicago Cubs. Make sure you guys do not make that mistake right there. But it wasn't that big of a mistake. If there were multiple territories with only 2 million fans, then it actually would have been an enormous mistake, since when it comes to move fans phase, you can only move one amount of fans to a certain territory. You're not allowed to just constantly be moving fans over. I'm not worried about these guys coming down here and trying to get this Pittsburgh Pirates circle. I'm more worried about, hey, what are they going to be doing here in the Kansas City Royals territory, which it looks like they're trying to capture the Kansas City Royals. So, you know, that makes 2 of us here, but they're not going to be able to do it. Once again, I'm not really worried about the 2 million that they have over there, and the rest of our territories, they still have 3 mil, so we're happy with that. If they attack our 1 mil, then that's where we're a little worried, but they don't really seem too interested in it. Will the 11 mil attack our 1 mil? No, they will not, but I will show you all where you place the blocker for the Kansas City Royals. We're gonna simply beat the Tigers. It took forever. I don't know if I want to go ahead and attack that 17 mil. I don't think I will, actually. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do. We're going to reinforce here. It looks like the Milwaukee Brewers were able to regain that territory. So once again, make sure you guys place at least 6 over there whenever they have 2. We're going to put 1 right here. And then the blocker for the Kansas City Royals is going to be this right here. So we're not worried about that 2 still. We're worried more about this leading territory and it not being able to get eaten up. We're going to attack this 2 mil and hopefully beat it. Have 1 mil remaining, which is perfectly fine. Here the Kansas City Royals seem to have attacked and left us with 2 mil, which is fine. They wasted their turn. The 18 mil decided to try to beat up our 1 mil. We were able to at least drop it down to 15, making it a little bit easier for us. I think I'm going to just put the 15 mil, store right here, and I'm not going to move forward at all, to be honest. I think that's the best decision you can make. That way you get a better reinforced phase and you just get a lot more fans there. We're going to put 3 mil here, and then we're probably going to move 1 mil from the Milwaukee Brewers on over to the top where our new leading territory is going to be. And after that, it should be pretty simple. You guys should, by now, I'd say, have a gist of what it is you have to do to finish capturing the entire map. We're gonna go after these I think you do go after these 6 million fan territories, and I think you just play 16 here, and then you don't move at all. You force them to have to make the move, and you force them to have to attack you. That way, hopefully, the simulations are a little bit more in your favor, which they were a little bit more in our favor, of course. We're gonna skip to reinforce. Make sure everything has at least 3 mil. Pittsburgh Pirates, you're not escaping me here. We're gonna put 3 mil there, and then the rest, it's gonna be a beautiful circle around the Detroit Tigers. Now, the capper for the blocker, excuse me, I don't know why I said capper, but the Detroit Tigers is going to be placed where that 4 million is. But at this point, to be honest, you don't really care about the blocker, at least at the Detroit Tigers section, because with 21, the chances of you getting closed off are slim to none. Like, if we would lose with 18 mil to 1 mil, I'd be devastated. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'd just be completely devastated because it was highly improbable. But with my luck, I would never be surprised. Now look at this. We have 11 mil. They have 3 mil, 2 mil, 2 mil. We should be able to circle off the Pirates and basically rejoin. And bada boom, bada bang. You have each and every single stronghold in the nipple approach, except for the Cubs, which you can easily do, of course. But now all you do is reinforce, capture all the remaining territories, make sure the blockers stay at 3, reinforce 1 territory until you have enough to where you feel comfortable facing the CPU on whatever difficulty. This is where you want to place the blocker for the Detroit Tigers. We're gonna go ahead and reinforce all of our territories and move this 4 mil into this 31 mil. If I'm comfortable playing at veteran difficulty, which is most likely the lowest difficulty you're gonna get if you do this approach, then I'm gonna go ahead, play with these 34 mil, capture it, and then continue on and keep doing it for every single stronghold. If you did end up enjoying today's content, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, Twitch, and everything else is inside the description, including my social medias where I tweet when I'm live and all of that. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.